welcome to my chaotic kitchen. This is my youngest son, Kelvin, and my oldest one, Micah. And I am a mom of two boys who loves to bake and cook and be in my kitchen and create meals and food for my family. And so this is just a little taste of what my life is like in the kitchen. It's never a dull moment, and it always has entertainment and lots going on, and sometimes this mama just needs a moment, even though it's chaotic in the house, to make something yummy. So I'm excited for you all to go on this journey with us and my little sous chefs. And the first thing we're gonna make is pumpkin chocolate chip scones. So this is a new recipe for me, so we'll all have to try it out together and see how they are. So join me in the kitchen. So it is fall. We are in almost at the end of October here. So I am, of course, making something with pumpkin because you have to when it's fall. So scones are always going to use a ton of flour, and you want them to have that dryish texture. I do find that homemade scones, for some reason, are a lot less dry than the ones that you get in the store. I always find that the ones I bake at home are a lot more moist. So we're going to start with 2.5 cups of flour. Then we're going to grab some chocolate chips. I forgot my chocolate chips. All right, after you get the flour in there, we're going to do 3/4 cups of chocolate chips. Most important part, if you ask me. That's still my son emptying the 9x13 glass dishes out of my cabinet. You know, just another day here at his house. My oldest is having quiet time, which consists of him watching shows on my phone. Please don't judge, but every mama's got to do that at some point, just to have a moment of peace and quiet, right? Without knowing that something is getting destroyed. Okay. This is what's going on behind me now. He's moved on to the pantry. He has emptied the glass bowls out of the cabinet. And now you're moving on to the pantry duty? Yeah. My busy boy. Okay, so we have the chocolate chips in the flour, and we are moving on to salt. 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And I'll post this recipe along with the video, but you guys are able to make them if you think they look yummy. It's pretty important with baking, obviously, that you do the exact measurements. Baking is a bit of a science, not quite the same as cooking savory dishes. So, 1 teaspoon baking powder, and then we're also going to do 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. Okay. And then 1/3 cup of sugar. And pumpkin pie spice. We're going to do 1 teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice. Smells like fall. All right, we're going to stir all of our dry ingredients together. And you're always going to do this first with scones. I know a lot of recipes say do the dry ingredients, do the wet ingredients. Half the time I really don't listen to that. I just kind of do my own thing. But with scones, it's pretty important that you get your dry ingredients together because you're going to want to put your butter in there. It's a little bit of a different process than if you're making muffins or a loaf or something like that. Okay, so our dry ingredients are together. All right, we have moved on to the next step in our scones. This is where you add in the butter. Sorry, I'm checking on my son because he's in that pantry. It's very important that your butter is cold. You want it to be right out of the fridge. And then you're going to just take a knife, and I just kind of chop it up into cubes. So this is kind of what they're like, these little tiny cubes. Throw those into your dry ingredients. We're going to get a little bit dirty. So make sure that your hands don't need to be clean for like 5 or so minutes. So make sure your kiddos are doing something that they're okay with for 5 minutes. We'll see if I make it this time with Kelvin. Anyways, yeah, you want to get them cut into these tiny little cubes. And throw them into your, well, you don't literally have to throw them, but place them into your dry ingredients. All right, I've got all, and it's 1 stick of butter that you're adding to this recipe. I have a child on my leg now. So get your hands into the butter and the dry ingredients and just start, you kind of want to mix that butter, well, push it into the dry ingredients. I don't know if there's really any better way for me to say it. So I'm getting my hands right in there and I am pushing. Here, I'm going to move the camera so you guys can see kind of what I'm doing a little bit. There. So you can see that I am mushing this butter with my fingers. It's a little silly with the chocolate chips in this one, but get it in there. Yeah. So this takes a little bit of time. This is kind of the longest process that you're going to need when it comes to making these scones. But it's really important, and it's good to have those little chunks of butter. It doesn't have to be completely incorporated. So you'll get a little bit messy on your fingers, but that's part of the fun. This is where you get all of your aggravations out. Aggravations? Aggravations. I don't know if that's a word or not, but I just made it up. Anyways, let me tell you a bit about myself while I'm squeezing some butter here. I'm originally from Canada. I met my husband when I was living in Nashville. We were both living there. And now we've moved a few places, but we just moved about a month ago to just a suburb outside of Chicago. And my husband is a pastor. He's a worship pastor at a church here in Bartlett, Illinois. And we have been so blessed so far to be a part of this amazing body of people at Village Church of Bartlett, and have just been loved having and spending time with them. So I love to bake. I love to have other young mamas who have young kiddos at home and stay home with their kiddos. I love to have moms over and have a cup of coffee while our kiddos play and just get to know them. And I just really feel like eating something tasty while you do that is always a plus. So it's a part of why I love to bake. I feel like it really does bring people together, and it's just something I love doing. I grew up watching my mom bake, but there will be more to come on that in future episodes. So, all right, looks like my butter is pretty well combined. You kind of want to have it just a little bit chunky. You want to have those chunks of cold butter still in your mix. Okay, and then I usually try to make a little, kind of a little well in it so that I can pour my dry ingredients in there when I've got them together, and then you can kind of incorporate them a little easier. All right, I'm gonna wash my hands. So like I was saying, my husband and I and our 2 boys, Micah and Calvin. Micah is 3, Calvin is 1. We just moved here about a month ago. So we are still getting settled in our house. It's a new neighborhood, new people to meet, but we are absolutely loving it so far. Okay, I am getting together our wet ingredients. I started with 1 egg, and then it calls for ½ a cup of pumpkin puree. So I am just being a lazy mama and using canned pumpkin. My mother, of course, would always use fresh pumpkin, but I do not have time right now to do that or learn how to boil the pumpkin and blend it up. But someday. Okay, so I've got my pumpkin in there, ½ a cup of pumpkin, 1 egg, and then it's calling for 3 tablespoons of milk. And there is my youngest. I am using whole milk, but it's any variety of milk will do. You just want that doing in there. And then I'm just going to whisk mine up because I like to keep that egg broken apart a little bit. Oh, Calvin. Now he's into this kitchen is a disaster, which is why you will continue to only see this shot. Okay. We have our our wet ingredients. Take my spoon and I'm going to pour those into the little well that I created with our dry ingredients. Okay. And then, come on. Really complicated step here. Now, you're going to notice with scones that it is going to be a drier mix, which is good. You're going to have to kind of knead it a little bit to really get those wet ingredients into the dry ingredients, but essentially in the end, scones are just going to be a drier consistency than when you are making muffins or any other baked good. even cookies, anything like that. Okay, you want it to get somewhat combined. This is a new recipe, so we're trying it out. We'll see if this is the right consistency. I may need to add a little bit more milk. And then usually, I'm gonna get a spatula. Usually with these kind of recipes, I will try to make 2 sets of scones. So let's see if we can get that same amount out of this one. Some of the stuff around. Hi, baby. Oh, I've got a child between my legs. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to get my hands right up into this mixture. See if I can kind of get it better. Sometimes it's easier to just get in there. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so you're going to get a surface. Once you've got your ingredients somewhat combined, you're going to get some flour. Put some flour down. I'm going to still try to get 2 kind of 6 to 8 inch circles out of my dough. You want to grab half of your mixture. Really keep pushing that together. Keep it together. It is going to be a little bit dry, so don't let that make you nervous. And then really kind of knead it. I think it's going to be a good consistency. All right. And you're going to form it into a circle on your counter. If you guys could see what's happening below me on the floor here, but it's okay. He's not doing any harm. I'm getting to do something I love, which is baking. I love the joy that food brings people. Okay, so I have got my circle. I will show you guys. I'm going to wash my hands quick here. And I'll show you what it's going to kind of look like. Okay. Hi, Calvin. Oh, baby. So you're going to have it. It's going to kind of look like that in a circular form. And what you're going to take, I have my knife from earlier, is just take your knife. You're going to cut it into, I usually do mine in triangle shapes. But you're going to cut them. You can put the little pieces that you're missing into even sizes of triangles. There we go. There we go. And there we go. All right. I'm going to get my oven on. Put these on a baking sheet. And then have a few last steps. So my youngest son, Calvin. Hi. You blow a kiss? Oh, nice. He wanted to come up and see what was going on. He's destroyed as much as he can on the bottom of the kitchen. So you want to come up to the top? See what Mommy's cooking? Are you hungry? Oh, yummy. We're going to have a fan here. All right. So, Bessie? No, he says I have things to say. Okay, so we're going to take our scones that we have cut up so beautifully. Here, I'll try to show you one of them. Aren't they cute? All right, I'm putting them on a baking sheet. The oven is set to 400. Set them on parchment paper. Love me some parchment paper. Anything that's going to save the process of cleaning, because I like making the mess. But I don't necessarily like cleaning it up. All right. Honey, we can't eat these yet. Mommy has to bake them. We got to bake them. Yeah, hi. Hi. All right. Okay, last one. So I ended up getting 6 triangles from 1/2. So I'll end up with 12 scones. And then these scones came with, they have a cinnamon sugar topping. Who doesn't love that? So we're going to work on that. All right? Can Mama do that? Yeah. All right. Kiddo Biddo. I know, sweetie. All right, we're going to quickly make up. It's going to be okay. It'll be fine. Oh, sweetie. I'm just going to be real with you other mamas out there. Sometimes you have to take a break in the middle of baking and tend to your children's needs, which I'm not really sure what they are yet, but we're going to take a short break and be right back. Okay, so he doesn't want me to put them down, and I'd love to get these in the oven. So we're gonna do it one-handed. I've created a egg wash. It's 1 egg with a teaspoon of milk, and then this is a cinnamon sugar topping, 1 tablespoon of sugar and a half a teaspoon of cinnamon. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of this egg wash and just brush it over top of each one of these scones. You're probably gonna have more than you need with that amount. Sounds awesome, Micah. Micah's singing. Itsy bitsy spider in there. Nice, baby. Don't touch. All right, so I've got our egg mixture, and then I'm just going to take a little spoon and sprinkle some of the cinnamon sugar over there. Micah, do you want to come say hi? No, of course. Mommy's talking to the video. What video? Come and see. No, okay. You'll see him. All right, we have cinnamon sugar. What could be better? Awesome. I know you want to eat them now, but we got to bake them. So, 400 degree oven, 18 to 20 minutes. We'll let you know how they turn out. Scones are out. Let's test them out here. Okay. Turned out really cute, really nice. Let's take a bite and see how they are. Let's test the product. Really moist, and I love how the outside has a crunch in it, but the inside is really soft and warm and moist. These are going to be awesome for breakfast with a good old cup of coffee, and I think the kiddos are going to like them too. It tastes like fall. Lots of pumpkin flavor and lots of chocolate, which are 2 good combinations. So they're good. I will post the recipe, and thanks you guys for coming along on this journey with me.